Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And we're in that special time of year where we're wrapping up last year, and we're getting started with some television. So I have a whole bunch of top 10 videos coming to you over the next couple of weeks. I will be covering TV shows released in 2024, books that I've read in 2024, my top 10 of my Spotify Wrapped, so you'll know what songs I've been listening to on repeat over and over and over again. And then and we'll be doing a most anticipated movie one for 2025. And obviously my prized one, my top 10 films of 2024 that I do every year with my buddy Matt. But joining me for television, the only person that I could think of that I was going to choose to ask to do this is Mike Hilty, the king of television, and I'm the king of movies. And we kept afloat a website for way too long. All of our content. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. Greatly appreciate it. And looking forward to just spreading the joy that is television out to everybody. So looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. So Mike and I will each do a few honorable mentions, and then Mike's going to go from 10 to 1, his TV shows of 2024, a minute or two on each one, and then I'll go through my list. If there's any new ones, I'll expand upon them. But Mike, what are a couple of your honorable mentions from this year?
So I've got four honorable mentions of shows that I have not finished yet, but if
Okay.
I had, there's a good chance that they would be on this list. So the four are 100 Years of Solitude on
Okay.
Netflix, Pachinko on
Okay.
Apple TV Plus, Shrinking on Apple TV Plus. I'm a couple episodes behind on that, but I floated the idea of maybe putting it at number 10, but I don't think that I would have done my due diligence
Mhm.
had I not
That's
finished it.
fair.
And then the last one, I'm only four episodes in, and even though it came out today, it's already an honorable mention, and that's Squid Game season two.
Damn. There you go.
So those are definitely up there. But then couple like two other honorable mentions that barely missed the cut that I still wanted to give shout outs to. Uh, and this is going to be the first year in a long time where Abbott Elementary did not make my top 10. And I feel a little like I did something wrong, but at the same time, I still want to shout out that Abbott Elementary at number 12 on my list is still
Mm,
very good. And then I did want to give a shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Smith on on Amazon. I was
there you go.
expecting to hate this because I thought this concept was going to be stupid. And at times this concept is a little stupid, but I still enjoyed it because I thought the two leads were just fantastic separately and together. And it brings a little bit of more to this Mr. and Mrs. Smith branch of spies, which
Mhm.
I found interesting and fascinating.
There you
So
go.
yeah, yeah.
A couple of my honorable mentions are Fargo season 5. I just love Fargo so much. Somebody Somewhere season 3. I love that show. And I hope a lot more people check it out on HBO. Hacks season 3. Only Murders in the Building season 4. We Are Lady Parts season 2. I love that show too. Those are some honorable mentions though. But Mike, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is The Bear, season three.
Mhm.
And I was surprised because The Bear traditionally has been one of my top shows of the year.
Yeah.
And to see it at number 10, I think some people are gonna say, well, it's still like it's just a different flavor for
Yeah.
this season. So I still enjoyed it, just not as much as the other seasons, but that doesn't change the fact that The Bear still isn't quality television.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, Bear season 2 was my number 1 from last year. And
yeah,
this
me
one,
too.
I think it barely made my top 20. Just some context. I know you watch a lot of television too. I think I finished 116 seasons of TV this year, and like top 20 is still really impressive. It's
Yeah.
just there's a bit of a dip in it, but there's still some
Yeah.
great episodes. Still a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
show, and it's still a lot of
Still.
comedy. So
Mhm.
there you go. How about number nine?
Number nine, I have Nobody Wants This on Netflix. And maybe it is because I am in love with Kristen Bell. Maybe that's a small part of it. But
It is
also,
great.
but I can't deny that if I'm in love with Kristen Bell, I can't describe how I feel about Adam Brody in this because Adam Brody was just fantastic in
Mhm.
this, and their chemistry was just so good. And yes, I will admit that this feels a little sitcom-y at times, but I still enjoyed this a lot. I'm a little concerned about what more can you bring to the table for
Mhm.
season two, but I became very invested in these two characters and I really enjoyed it a lot.
This one is still on my watch list because I I think I've talked to you about this, Mike. I prioritize like weekly shows more. And sorry, Netflix, that kind of just targets you. Uh because
Well,
like everything gets
And Amazon too, so
yeah.
I got you there.
Um but no, so this is still on my watch list. But looking forward to it. Heard some good things. How about number
Yeah.
eight?
My number eight is Baby Reindeer, which surprised that it still made my top 10, but from the moment I saw it, it is just stuck with me in
Mm,
terms of just how good a lot of the performances are. And particularly the person who plays Martha is just out of this world fantastic. So Baby Reindeer's still up there. That's that I think it's episode 6 where you actually get to find out what actually happens to him. Probably one of the hardest but best hours of television out there. Um, so yeah, Baby Reindeer at number 8.
I really missed the train on this one. Because I know this was something that like a lot of people were talking about, so I still need to get around to it. How about number seven?
Number 7 is Fallout on Amazon. I think Amazon messed up when they dropped this all at once. There,
See
I
what they'll
said
do with
it.
season two.
Well, I think for season 2, they're going to actually do this week to week because I think this is a perfect show that you could have a national conversation about with it being week to week.
Mm,
Love the performances. I love the world that they've established. I think Walton Goggins is fantastic in this. And he's the character that I was not looking forward to the most, but found myself glomming onto his story the most. So and I'm really looking forward to this trend out there where video games are much more successful, it
yeah.
seems, when they're on television, except except the Halo show, which I don't understand what happened with that.
Or
But
Sonic, which is killing it in movies.
yeah.
But like this is on my watch list with my wife, which is why I have there's a bunch of shows on my watch list with my wife that I watch with my wife that I'm like chomping at the bit to check out, and this is definitely one of them. So
Mhm.
definitely hope to get around to that before season two comes out.
Mhm. Good call.
Number
Number
six.
6 is Say Nothing on it's technically on Hulu, but it's an FX show.
Hmm,
And to me, FX won 2024 for all of the great quality television that they put out.
I
And
think
I
we're going to
think
be talking about one of them.
I
Another
for
one of
sure.
them for sure.
So they've kind of taken that mantle away from HBO over the last year. And I think for me, Say Nothing is one of those great stories that from an era in history that you don't very hear much about. So I think just the history of the troubles in Ireland when the IRA was kind of going in full force. I think narratively the story is really fascinating, but I think just the story, the the story invites some pretty challenging ideas of, was this all really worth it in the end? And that's a big thing that I think a lot of these individuals and just anybody who's kind of involved in like any type of organization that is committing crimes has got to come to a crossroads with at some point, is like, was any of this worth it at the end of the day?
Mhm.
And I think for me, that's kind of what sold it for me.
This one completely flew under my radar because I had to just look this up what the show was. So that's telling you I completely missed that one. But now I definitely have to put that on my watch list now. Um, but that sounds right up my alley because I love Irish stuff. How
Yes.
about
Oh,
number
yeah, for sure.
how about number five?
My number five is Hacks. I think Hacks, rightfully
Yes.
so, won the best comedy award at
As
the
it
Emmys
is.
because it's actually a comedy. And I think you're starting to get a little bit of a rebellion from people out there when it
Mhm.
comes to The Bear about whether or not it is actually deemed a comedy now. But Hacks is a comedy through and through.
Yes.
Um, and just the performances are outstanding, and that ending, whew, that ending is going to make for a fascinating next season.
Yes,
It's going to
absolutely.
be it's going to be tense.
There is a character choice that
Oh,
was
yes,
a
very much so.
choice. And when you have a comedy that can get you that like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens in the next season, that's something special. How about number four?
My number four is the Penguin. And dear Lord, how on earth can superhero shows go from just the bottom, like just the bottom of just such bad and generic television. But then you have certain things where it's like the Penguin comes out and you're like, wow, this is this is like really, really good. And
Mm,
you'll never be able to convince me that's Colin Farrell. Like just never. That's not Colin Farrell at all. That is some no-name actor out there who is just cosplaying as Colin Farrell, cosplaying as the Penguin. Like, no, there's no way.
no, it is one of the most transformative television performances you're gonna see.
Mm.
And it's so weird seeing those behind the scenes clips of him talking with his Irish brogue, what and dressed up as the penguin. Just that performance is incredible. On all things Matt Reeves, I trust because this man is incredible. And
He
I
knows,
cannot
yeah.
wait for the Batman Part 2, because where this is how you make a show about a villain and still keep him a villain because he's a villain
He is. And
in the end.
just when you think that you're going to find some empathy with him, no, you're not going to. I I do not understand how Sony can make all of these bad Spider-Man villain movies and yet Matt Reeves and company and HBO can make The Penguin, and I don't understand. That math does not math to me at all.
Because this is like they put the effort into this for sure. Because he was Oz Cobb in the Batman. By the end of this season of television, he is the Penguin.
He is the Penguin.
And that's what's so exciting in seeing where that character goes. How about number three?
Number three is X-Men 97. And all I'll say about this is I loved the cartoon growing up.
Uh-huh.
And this to me is how you do a legacy sequel. You keep the spirit of the show
Mhm.
alive while improving the animation and the action, but you keep the heart of the story intact. And I will remember it. But it's great. I'm looking forward to more of this coming up in the future.
I just it's this was so surprising because like I used to watch that 90s Spider-Man and the 90s X-Men show every morning before school because I think they're on Fox Family before it turned into ABC Family before it turned into Freeform. And I just loved that X-Men show so much and this just picked that up and ran with it. That first episode is some of the most like it put literally every single other X-Men movie to shame, showing just how powerful the mutants can be, and put some respect on Storm because she never got treated like the like powerful goddess in human form that she is, and she just straight like bam. And this show is wild. It's unabashedly like this is a comic book. Shit's gonna get weird, and it goes there, and it's so
Mhm.
intense and crazy. And then the tease for the next season with Apocalypse and everything. I'm just like, well,
Yes. Well,
bring us on.
and it can't be worse than what we got from Fox for the Apocalypse storyline. So looking forward to that. And just the messaging behind this. This actually gets to the core of what makes the X-Men so amazing
Mhm.
is that it is at the end of the day an allegory for prejudice
Yes.
and you know a whole slew of social commentary on stuff. It's it's a show that's woke, which yeah, this comic has always been quote unquote woke. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand the X-Men. Plain and simple.
No. And this understands the source material, and it's just there's so many amazing things and emotionally devastating. Like, oh my god, some of the choices they made character wise, and like it still does like the comic book thing where it's like some of them, you know, come back unexpectedly, but like some of them don't. And the ones that stick, it's just like
Oof, this is
this
rough.
is heartbreaking. What's your
Well,
next
and
one? Oh, go ahead.
uh, one, two quick things. One,
Yeah.
I love that Wolverine's not the main focus of this because believe it or not, there's other
He
X-Men
never
to focus
was
on.
in the first
And
place.
more important, but something Wolverine adjacent. I never knew that I needed in my life a fight sequence with Wolverine and Nightcrawler, but I'm I'm now a better person for having that in my life.
Oh, and even like that combo attack in the first episode with Gambit and Wolverine. Oh my god. They
That was
worked
great.
as a team.
I know.
Like
It was great.
the little things.
It's the little things
But
like that. That's true.
how about your
Yep.
next one, Mike?
My number two is Industry, and season three of that, which is interesting because I said that FX won the year, but I'm looking at my list. I'm like, wait a second, five,
A lot of
four, and
HBO.
two are all HBO,
Yeah.
but Industry is one of those shows that I think is flying under the radar for a lot of people because
Mhm.
it is in the shadows of Succession.
Yes.
It's kind of like adjacent to Succession in a lot of ways because
It's
it's dealing
its
with a lot of the same, a lot of,
successor.
ooh, well, I'm going to be so bold as to say is that I think Industry has taken the mantle from Succession as the best show on HBO right now because it's dealing with a lot of similar topics in terms of greed and corporate responsibility and just the only other thing that it's adding to this that Succession didn't is Britishness and also what all these young people are just doing in order to make it in this toxic investment firm.
It's a generational difference too, because this is very much a like a Gen Z
Yes,
kind of
so
experience
it's absolutely.
versus, all the characters in Succession are at least like
No,
I
yeah.
guess some of them are elder millennials, I guess, and then Gen Xers, and then Brian Cox. Uh, but like it's an interesting take because it's like it's a different generation of characters. Like obviously you have some characters that are a little bit older, but it's mostly focusing on especially young women in this kind of situation. And yeah, in this last industry took a little bit to really click with me how great it is, and this most recent season really clicked. And we'll go out on a limb here. Tell me why Shogun's your number one.
Well, Shogun is number one because visually, this is better than some of the movies we got this year. So it's visually
Mhm.
amazing, but the character work in particular um, is off the charts. I think Anasawa, I think that's how you pronounce her name, is giving the best performance of the year. And although you're teased with this like epic battle
Mhm.
at the end, what you get is better, I think, because it's a more personal
Yes.
story. So I really like the swing that FX did with this show, and it paid off because everything about this show is amazing. So yeah, Shogun still number one show of the year for me.
I Shogun swept it up too.
It just
Because like it made me so happy to see Hiroki Sanada get the recognition that I don't think he's ever got. Because he is so damn good in literally everything he pops up in. I just love, and he was not given much to work with in the Wolverine, and he's still one of the most memorable parts. And that fight that he has with Logan is infinitely better than that hodgepodge third act bluff that almost completely ruins the movie.
yes,
But oh my god, their fight, and then him popping up in like John Wick Chapter 4 was just chef's
great.
kiss. Him and Donnie Yen fighting it out was amazing. But no, this is politics, it is betrayal, it is so much drama. And more is done with an intense one-on-one conversation than like a whole battle can accomplish. And like some of these actors, like especially Hiroki Sanada was going stepping into the shoes of Toshiro Mifune, literally like the most famous Japanese actor in like the history of cinema, and kill it absolutely because this is a beloved miniseries for a lot of people that watched it when it was live, and to the point where like I saw John Reese Davies was like, "Why the f would you remake this?" Because he was in the original Gimli.
Yeah,
But like this is this is how you make a show. And like it's not as high on my list only because I think I felt a more personal connection to some of the other shows.
and
But
that's
like this is
fine.
like
Yeah.
I think objectively like the best show on television. And like this came in, this was one of my three most anticipated shows this year just because like from the sheer power of like this looks amazing, and it nailed it for sure.
Yes. Mhm.
This is feudal Japanese Game of Thrones, peak Game of Thrones, and it nailed it.
Peak Game of Thrones. Yes, absolutely.
So running through mine real quick. So my number 10 was Resident Alien season 3 because I still love this show to death. I this is one of my I think this is one of the best shows on television, and I wish more people would actually watch. Alan Tudyk is a gem. This man went to Juilliard, and, and he's Hey Hey from Moana.
Yes, he is.
Uh, just what he can do, he's so great. My number 9 is Sugar, which is still one of like the most shocking unexpected TV experiences I've had this whole entire year. Speaking of Colin Farrell, he was so good in this, and I still remember the moment where the reveal of what this show really is happened, me just being like, what
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going on here?
That twist is going to inform a lot of people on whether or not you're gonna like this show. Because if you buy into that twist, you're gonna like the show. If you don't and you turn it off, then it's just not for you. And that's fine. But
Mhm.
Sugar is in my top 25 this
Yep.
year. I really enjoyed it.
My number eight is Agatha All Along. This was like I know there's people out there that had a problem with this show. Um,
Those people
because
just aren't fun.
no, this is may I say, the this is like the cuntiest Marvel has ever been. And this just goes for it. Because God, everybody in this show, whether it's Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza, God, I would watch a whole entire show of just Agatha and who Aubrey Plaza winds up actually being.
Yes.
Um, because it's them together. Patty Lupon, like that,
Yeah.
her episode was one of my favorite
Amazing.
episodes of television this year. And this sets up so many interesting things and had so many unexpected twists and turns. And that the Witch's Road song is
Bob.
a goddamn hit between Agatha All Along and WandaVision. This is just like everybody ate this up. Absolutely loved it. My number seven is Shogun. Absolutely love Shogun. Incredible show. My number six is X-Men 97 because God, just this is peak X-Men
Yep.
on a screen, to be perfectly honest.
Yep.
Number five is, and this is the most painful cancellation for me, is Big Door Prize season two, because I fell in love with every character in this show and also wanted to punch Chris O'Dowd in the face because he frustrated me so much with the dumb shit that he did in the season. And I just loved the concept of it. The concept of this is incredible. And we're finally going to get some answers and had this big ass cliffhanger and they just kicked us in the nuts and sold it. Why, Apple? Why? And we're never going to find out. And it makes
Mhm.
me so damn sad.
Mhm.
Um, Number four here for me is Star Wars Acolyte. And I loved the show. And it makes me so mad that people, before they even saw it, were pissed off. And I'm also, and this probably isn't going to surprise you, I'm a humongous The Last Jedi fan. I'm sick of people gatekeeping, clutching pearls about Star Wars. If you don't like when Star Wars does different stuff, you're still going to complain when it does the same stuff because that's what you did with The Force Awakens, too. So you just don't want to be happy. So,
Yep.
and how this story all played out and the potential,
The potential.
what they
Yeah.
had planned with this, with Darth Plagueis and all these other threads that this could have gone in. And I love this cast. It was daring in how it told its story. And this had some of the best action ever put in a Star Wars property. Oh my god, that lightsaber battle in the that one episode was killer. And then there's one other one, and I think it was the second to last episode. It's been a month since I watched this, where we got to see a certain character take out a lightsaber and fight. Blew my mind, and people bitched about it within the first three episodes that they wasted that character because nobody has any patience.
No, no, they don't.
And this show, you need patience. And if you don't have patience, you're not going to like it.
Well, and if there is if there is something out there that perfectly encapsulates not only the state of Star Wars fans right now, but more importantly, the state of television, it's the Acolyte because you just bitching and complaining about things that just are completely surface level and unfounded. And also, believe it or not, people out there, there are different ways to tell stories. We don't have to stick to specific canon in certain things. We can interpret things however we want. And I I did enjoy this a little less than I was hoping for, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I think it had a lot of potential. And for
It just
Disney to pull the rug on this so quickly, I think that's kind of a shit.
they gave in to what makes me mad, because here's the thing: you don't have to like something, but you don't have to be an asshole about it. And there's people that
Oh
didn't even
no.
watch the show.
Oh no, no, no,
And
no. No, you can't nowadays you can't it's not enough just to not like something. Now you have to be an asshole about it too. We can't win. This is
no,
why society sucks.
my number three is What We Do in the Shadows, season six. And I loved what they did with this season, with this whole corporate job storyline. It was fresh, it was different, and had so many great moments. The whole entire episode where they lampoon Apocalypse Now was hilarious. And like they added new characters who one of them was absolutely hated and we were supposed to, and I'm glad what happened to him. They lampooned the Warriors, which was hilarious. And also they had some really like surprising guest stars, like Steve Coogan being Laszlo's dad was hilarious.
Oh,
And
that's
this
great.
finale got me. It was not a finale that I expected either, because they made a choice
They did.
with how they were going to end this show. And I'm like, I didn't expect it to end this way, but it makes sense is how this was going to end. And I don't know why I didn't think that they would end it this way, because I don't feel like any other mockumentary show really makes that decision to end like this. And I feel like I'm surprised nobody else did an episode like this, to be perfectly honest. But and just even like the last shot just got me. I'm gonna miss the show so damn much.
That's the
Ugh.
show a lot. Yeah.
Number two is Shrinking, season two, because I love the daylights out of every single character in this show. This show makes me laugh. It makes me want to cry almost every episode. It's just that good in what it's doing. And this cast is infinitely just, there's so much talent, and they added more. And Brett Goldstein being added into this season and adding that whole layer to the show. And all I have to say is that every human being should 100% have friends like this. This feels so genuine, and just how everybody comes together in this. And it deals with heavy stuff.
It deals with a lot of heavy stuff, but Bill Lawrence just knows how to balance the heavy stuff and the
Yep.
comedy, and I think that's his greatest strength as somebody who's shepherding a show like this,
Mm,
because he did it with Scrubs, did it with Ted Lasso, now he's doing it with this too.
yep. I've fallen in love with Jessica Williams because of the show. I love her. But everybody needs a Derek in their life. Or if you're special enough, be a Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Ted McGinley, oh my God, I love him so much. And it's funny because if you ask my wife, I'm a Derek, and that makes me very happy. That means the world to me. And my number one is the Penguin, because my God, this show was amazing. And oh my God. The Paisan cards that I'm willing to hand out to people, because I am very particular about who I would give out Paisan cards to. Because like first off, Kristen Milotti, so good.
So good.
It
So
made me so
good.
happy she got a role like this to really sink her teeth into. Colin Farrell, who
He's
I
not in the
used to
show. Stop, stop, stop it.
despise.
He is not in the show.
he
That's
was
not him.
legitimately one of my least favorite actors in the early 2000s
That's fair.
because of Daredevil, because of Alexander. Like, hated Colin Farrell. And then In Bruges happened. And Banshees of Inisherin solidified that Colin Farrell is one of my favorite actors. And what he does by not being in the show, I don't even know why I'm bringing him up, but he was just that good. Um, and just everybody. And that last episode, and one particular thing that happened, like
Just
just what this show is able to accomplish right when you think that Oz had something to be redeemable. And then what he does, this show, oh, I I hope they greenlight a second season, and I hope they keep expanding this world. And no, James Gunn, I don't want Robert Pattinson in your DCU. Leave him alone. Leave this
yeah,
to Matt Reeves and let him do his whole
let
thing.
let him do what he needs to do. Yeah, that last episode, that scene in particular that you're referencing, I thought that was a joke at first. And then when it became painfully obvious that it wasn't a joke anymore, I stopped what I was doing and I was like, what why would you do that? But
Heartbreaking.
it's very clear why they did that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just to show you that this guy uh, is not a good guy at
No,
all.
no. And the Penguin is one of the most interesting characters in television right now. Because, oh my God. Ah, the show's so good.
So
There's a lot of good things about this year in television. I have a lot to catch up on because, like, I still need to, like, just throwing out some stuff that I really do want to catch up on. I know, like, I still want to check out Terminator Zero that came out,
that was
uh,
good.
Chaos, because the Goldblum.
Mhm.
Uh, just taking a look through my quick list here. I need to watch Arcane season 2 still. I need to watch the new season of Silo because that first season was incredible. Um Squid Game, I know that literally just came out as we're recording this today, but I still
Yeah.
need to watch. These are things I watch with my wife, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Gentleman, Fallout, uh still Monsters at Work season 2 because I love Monsters Inc. I need to catch up on. Actually, you know what? I'm not watching Cobra Kai until they put all three goddamn parts out because
Hold
I'm
on, hold on,
pissed
hold on,
off.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I, if anything, yeah, you could get away with missing the first or not watching the first part. But dear Lord, the way that this second part ends, it's like, holy shit. How, like, mm, it's
Yep. I still want to watch that Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series,
that's
A
good
Man on
too.
the Inside, because Michael Schur can do no wrong. Dream Productions, the Inside Out spinoff. So those are some things that are still big on my radar. But I if you want to hear more about my thoughts on television from this year, you're gonna check out SPDM Crew because Mike's gonna have a wallop of a episode of our TV show with Alice and I. So looking forward to that for sure.
Looking forward to that too. And who knows? There's still a lot of time between now and then for me to hit up a couple more shows to see if anything else would make my list.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's one of the things that I don't do very many annual things, but me, you, and Alice, we do this twice a year, and I love it. It's one of the things I look forward to the most.
Hey, I get to spend hours with Alice twice a year, one for this TV thing, and then the other one for our reworking the Oscars with Aaron over on Sif Pop. And Alice is a delight. Alice is the 1B person I would have asked to be on this if you told me no. Um,
And I'm
so
and I'm
And you weren't going to
I'm not
say
gonna.
no, so I
I'm
wasn't
not. I'm
really
not
worried
gonna
about it.
say no or anything like that. No, absolutely not.
And eventually, Mike and I will definitely talk about because we were supposed to talk about Bob's Burgers and
And
BoJack, right?
BoJack, yep, which we will be doing that soon enough. No
Hurt me
worries.
again,
Mhm.
that show. Woo-wee. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on and chatting television from 2024.
Thanks so much for having me on. Always love to talk television. Always here to, continue to spread the joy. So looking forward to that.
And thank all of you out there. Make sure to keep checking out all my top 10s and learn all kinds of crap about my 2024. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.